Today, I'm coming to you with an update on my FXAIX position that I created from funds that I reinvested from a poorly performing IRA with a high expense ratio from a previous job that I worked at. We just put Q3 behind us, so it's time for an update. I was originally going to start this off talking about the S&P 500 has hit all-time highs over and over again as recently as October 8th. But then on October 10th, we had a significant event happen related to the market. President Trump announces 100% tariffs on Chinese goods, showing us that no matter how much technical analysis we do, breaking news like this can drastically impact the stock market. So this caused the S&P 500 to drop by 2.7%. The Nasdaq was down even more by 3.6%. We had the worst day that we've had since April, back when we were also hit with tariff news. So what caused what went on yesterday? Trump made this announcement yesterday morning, threatening those 100% tariffs on China starting on November the 1st. This is because China made an announcement on October the 9th concerning export controls on rare earths. There are 17 minerals that China has 90% control of. China's Ministry of Commerce announced new export controls on those rare earths, starting immediately for some and as soon as December the 1st for others. And this is a big deal for global supply chains. Basically, a power play when it comes to those trade wars. China is creating this new rule that any product with even 0.1% rare earth content from China now needs an export license. This will impact many things, including raw materials. If a U.S. company like Apple or NVIDIA uses Chinese rare earths in their factories abroad, they might need China's okay. This could delay supply chains waiting on those approvals and then lead to spiking costs that are going to be passed on to the consumer. So what are rare earths? They are super materials that are used in our iPhones and Tesla car batteries and the AI chips that NVIDIA uses to make its GPUs and even in jet engines. Trump called their move sinister. And so this is going to escalate a trade war, leading to the stock market freaking out. NVIDIA's down 4.9%, Microsoft down 2%, Apple down 3.4%, just to name a few. And even before Trump's message came out yesterday morning, we were already dealing with some caution when it comes to the stock market, waiting to find out what's going to happen related to more rate cuts, jobless claims, and other issues. This is leading to short-term pain for the tech stocks and consumer goods stocks, but the market will recover. The rally had been on, continuing a massive recovery from the painful times that we went through back in 2022. The market bounced back in 2023 and 2024. The streak continued this year with strong earnings, tech leadership, cooling inflation. September, historically one of the worst months of the year, was different in 2025. The S&P 500 soared 3.5%, the first time its return has exceeded 3% during the month of September since 2010. And historically, following a positive September, the S&P has gained an average of 12% during the following year. But even with that, who knows what to expect with this administration and the unexpected events that we have dealt with this year related to these tariffs. But as an investor, a long-term investor, I'm going to stay the course, look back on the recovery that the S&P 500 has shown us every time. So when it comes to investing, we have to be ready for the ups and downs in order to reap the rewards in the future, because staying invested into a fund like FXAIX will allow us to build up our future wealth. Let's take a quick look at the investment calculator. If you had invested $10,000 back in 2000, 25 years ago, at a 10.5 rate of return. I'm using that because the S&P 500 has averaged around a 10 to 11% annual return over time through tech crashes, pandemics, wars, rate hikes. If you zoom out, you can always see the recovery. So $10,000 25 years later, you'd have an ending balance of about $121,000. 111 of that coming from interest. And this is without adding any additional funds. If you're not already incorporating using the investment calculator, I encourage you to do it as a part of your goal setting. When it comes to the S&P 500, it's not just about growth. You also receive a dividend. The dividend yield is modest at about 1.3%, but reinvesting those dividends can add a massive amount to your portfolio over the long term through compounding. Each quarter, those dividends pay out to buy more shares by having on that DRIP, the dividend and reinvestment plan. And those shares will then earn dividends too. This is how investors build wealth quietly. So, this is a look at the most recent dividend payouts. And when it comes to my portfolio in Q1 of 2025, I received $439.40, Q2, $485.29, and Q3, $500.64. Now let's take a closer look at this fund. FXAIX mirrors the S&P 500. It's tech heavy, followed by financials, consumer discretionary, communication services, and healthcare. The top holdings are NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Broadcom, Google, Tesla, and Berkshire Hathaway. Those companies make up about 38% of the funds. So when those big companies run, the whole index moves, which explains a lot about this year's strength. Let's move out to year to date on a few of these companies. NVIDIA's up 36.31%. Microsoft is up 21.22%. And as of Q3, the S&P 500 had broken record levels 35 times already this year. We were having historic momentum, a sign of how resilient the stock market is. But we have to remember there could be drastic drops in the stock market as well as a stretch of those all-time highs. Neither one of them are going to scare me off. Those all-time highs aren't warnings. They're just milestones. Every record high in history has been followed by dozens more. Just like these historic drops in the stock market have been followed by a recovery. I'm staying focused on the long term. Here's a look at the analyst price targets when it comes to FXAIX. They're giving it a high of 306.82 and an average of 260.94. This fund ended the week at $227.66. And I also want to take a second to highlight the expense ratio of this fund. It is 0.015%, extremely low. This is a fee that you're going to pay to invest through index funds and ETFs, those exchange traded funds. But by choosing a fund with a low expense ratio that is in line with your goals, you're able to keep more of the returns in your pocket. This is just $1.50 per $10,000 invested. Okay, so now let's take a look at my results. I currently have 747.146 shares. When I started to prepare to do this video, I was over $175,000. But with that announcement yesterday, my portfolio has dropped by about $5,000. My current gain is $50,554 or 42.29%. My last dividend payment bought me a little over 2 shares. I was at 145. So I've been through the ups and downs before, and I'm not panicking. This investment is part of my portfolio for retirement, so I have time to let it build and grow. I've seen over the last few years that the market rewards time, discipline, and being consistent. So I will never panic I will never worry about striving for perfection. I put the work into choosing good, solid funds that I know I can hold for the long term, especially when it comes to my retirement accounts. After every setback, the S&P 500 has come back even stronger. And so I encourage you to stay consistent even when those headlines get scary. Learn from what we've already seen throughout history. Reinvest those dividends. Make sure that your portfolios are in line with your goals. Use that investment calculator in order to see how much your current investments are on track to grow to. So I am Lisa J. Stocks, and on this channel, I am sharing my personal investing journey. Never financial advice. Strive to build wealth to take care of your older self as well as your family. So make sure to drop me some comments. Let me know, are you holding FXAIX or another fund that tracks the S&P 500? How long have you been investing? How's your portfolio looking after yesterday's announcements? Is the S&P 500 a core investment when it comes to your portfolio, like it is in mine? Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all of my videos and live streams. Let's finish 2025 strong. And remember, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. So have your eyes open to buying opportunities on those red days. You can support the channel by joining channel membership as well as using my links for Webull, Moomoo, and KGU, Keenan Grace's Discord community. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.